I continue to be amazed by how MLS is growing, despite them rarely getting promotion from legendary media. You see a league like NBA, for example. They get promoted 365 days out of the year from legendary media such as Disney, ESPN, Fox, CBS Sports, but mainly ESPN and Fox, the two biggest legendary sports media networks. Same with NFL. Constant promotion, 365 days. So when you look at their ratings for their games, it is expected. They're supposed to have high viewership numbers based on the amount of promotion that they get. Not only from legendary media, then you also got legendary radio, local radio in the city. Talking about those two sports leagues year round. With the amount of promotion that those two leagues get in this country, they're supposed to have high viewership numbers. So it's kind of foolish for anyone, including myself, to try to compare viewership numbers between MLS, NFL, and NBA. Because MLS is not getting the same amount of favors as those leagues. The same with Major League Baseball and NHL to a certain extent. Those two leagues don't get as much promotion as NFL and NBA, but MLB and NHL definitely gets more love from legacy media than MLS. So, as a result of that, those two leagues should have higher viewership numbers than MLS. It's supposed to be expected. The problem comes is if MLS have higher viewership numbers than those four leagues. That's a bad look on those four leagues. Those four leagues, especially NFL and NBA, should never have low viewership numbers based on the high amount of promotion that those leagues get 365 days out the year, 24/7. It's just constantly something about NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. Same with college football, college basketball. Even WNBA. WNBA gets more promotion, more love from legacy media than MLS. As a result of that, WNBA should have more viewership numbers than MLS based on the high amount of promotion that they get. But through it all, yet and still, MLS has found ways to continue to grow. Growing to the point where they're catching up with those leagues. And the growth of MLS proves that you don't have to heavily rely on legacy media to sustain yourself. Now, I'm not going to say that you don't have to rely on them at all, because it's still good to have healthy relationship with legacy media. Because as I continue to say, the first time I ever heard of MLS was because of ESPN Freddie Adu segment, which was either in 02 or 03. It was either in 02 or 03. ESPN Freddie Adu segment. That was my first time ever hearing about MLS. And then I forgot about it. But then again, like 10, 15 years later, back in like 2021, heard about MLS again because of ESPN. Not this time it was on the ESPN app though. Back in 02, 03, it was cable television. 2021, it was through the app. It was one day in the summer, just looking for some sports to watch. Happened to see MLS game on ESPN Plus. I started watching it, and I instantly got interested because of the speed of the game. Like, I really liked how fast the players were moving, and I liked the fact that they're arguing with each other a lot. I like the fact that they're like pushing and shoving each other a lot. I can't remember what game I was watching, but it was multiple games throughout that summer in 2021 where the speed, the physicality, the constant arguing, I liked it. And ever since then, I just kept watching it. But that just goes on to say, it's like MLS continues to prove that you don't have to heavily rely on legacy media to grow and to sustain yourself. And as we continue through the 2020s and we get into the 2030s and we reach the 2040s, it's really going to be interesting to see how this league continues to evolve. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to be the next wave of innovation that causes this league, that complements this league in its continued growth. Very interesting. You see, for me, I don't need 5,000, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube to continue to watch the sport. At the end of the day, I'm a sports fan. I'm still going to watch the games, whether I have a lot of support or low support. That's not taking away my interest in just witnessing how this league will continue to evolve and grow. So with that being said, we're entering the 101, the 101st chapter, 101st edition, however you want to call it. I'll just say chapter since we're gonna, since it's gonna be it's gonna be like an academic thing since the game's gonna be at Stanford University this Saturday. So we'll just stick with the academic theme. So chapter 101 of Cali Classico, Stanford University. Would have been nice if chapter 100 would have been at Stanford, but it is what it is. It is what it is. San Jose Earthquakes, LA Galaxy. One thing I want to say, this is going to be my last time talking about the San Jose Earthquakes for the rest of this year, unless they make the playoffs. And yes, whether you believe it or not, the Earthquakes can still clinch a wild card spot. All they need is 2 good months. 2 good months. They play well in July. Okay, so you won't have the full month of July because of League's Cup. So I say 3 good months. 3 good months. July, August, September. They will be in it Just 3 good months. But anyways, realistically, as of now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be, or most likely be, my last time talking about the San Jose Earthquakes this year, because honestly, I really don't have much to say about the Earthquakes anymore. I am out of words of encouragement after this time, because I really have no idea what's going on with the San Jose Earthquakes, because this team is just too talented to be losing like the way they're losing. There are at least 3 to 5 guys on this roster who will make an instant impact for a Supporter Shield contender this year. There are 3 to 5 guys on this roster who can make an immediate impact for Miami, Cincy, LAFC, LA Galaxy, Salt Lake. Can you imagine if Miami had Christian Espinoza on their squad? Especially due to the fact that, Leo Messi and Luis Suarez, they can't play that much games because, they got international duty, and then, they're up there in age. So, they got to rest. It's just life, their knees, father time, they're up there in age. So can you imagine if they had a guy like Espinoza who can come in and fill in some games? You pair him with Leo Capana. And, also with Leo Capana, he has injury problems too. He gets injured a lot. So can you imagine if Miami made a trade for Christian Espinoza? I'm just saying, that's not a rumor or anything that's about to happen. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. So this team is talented enough to compete in this league. This team is too talented to be losing like the way they lost on Saturday against LAFC. And honestly, I wanted LAFC to, go for that record. 8 goals. The most goals scored in an MLS regular season match. I really don't know what the issue is with the San Jose Earthquakes. But one thing I can say is this. There are moments in sports where you have no choice but to look up. There's moments in sports when you're stuck at the bottom and you're stuck in a ditch and you just don't know how to get out of that ditch. But you got to find a way to get out of that ditch. So you stop worrying about the issue and you start focus on possible solutions to get out of that ditch. And once you find the right solution to get out of that ditch, you're back to the top. And that's where San Jose Earthquakes is right now. You are stuck at the bottom, the lowest of lows, and you have no choice but to look up and find solutions that will enable you to climb up to the top. You see, San Jose, you're in a region where it's championship or bust. You see, when the San Francisco Bay does well in sports, the entire nation feels it. The entire nation is affected. When the San Francisco 49ers is playing at its best, no team in the NFL can stop them. And everybody in the nation talks about the San Francisco 49ers. When the Golden State Warriors are doing well in the NBA and they're dominating the NBA, the whole nation talks about the Golden State Warriors. You don't believe me? Look at the recent run. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Look at the current run of the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey. And also legends in the past. What is it? Steve Young, Jerry Rice, T.O., Patrick Willis, Colin Kaepernick, Jim Harbaugh. Now those are legendary guys in recent history. Now, we know 49ers got some legends from, like the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, or whatever. Look at the San Francisco Giants. Barry Bonds, the home run king. The San Francisco Bay is home of the home run king. That lets you know, San Jose Earthquakes, that you are in a legendary region, a region of champions where the expectation is to conquer and to dominate. The 49ers, the Warriors, the Giants, they set the standard. And even Stanford, at one point in history, they had their highs. The same Christian McCaffrey that's with the 49ers, he was with Stanford. I even remember, a guy like Toby Gerhardt and Andrew Luck. Stanford had their dominating moments too. So you see, the standard in the San Francisco Bay is championships. And you see San Jose Earthquakes. You're not the only one in a situation, in this low moment situation. You see, the 49ers, they got their own individual issue. Where the Kansas City Chiefs is threatening their dominance of being the face of the West. You see, the Chiefs have 4 Super Bowl rings. The 49ers, 5 Super Bowl rings. The Chiefs get 1 more Super Bowl ring, then they will be the face of the West, the best team of the West. Now, you may be wondering, well, how is that? Because, isn't it supposed to be if the Chiefs get more Super Bowl rings than the 49ers, then they'll be the face of the West? Won't it be a tie? You see, in the NFL, there's no such thing as ties. That's a soccer thing. That's a European soccer thing. Ties, that's not NFL culture. You're either the best or you're not the best. The reason why the Chiefs will become the iconic brand of the West over the 49ers if the Chiefs ties with 5 rings, when the Chiefs get 5 rings, is because popularity. The Chiefs is the hottest team in America because of Patrick Mahomes. Everybody loves Patrick Mahomes. There's nothing negative about the guy. Quite honestly, he's the LeBron James of NFL. He's perfect. He never does anything wrong. He's focused on sports. He's focused on his brand. He's focused on being great. So he doesn't do things that will cause him to lose everything he has. He doesn't do things that will cause him to turn into a bad player. So because of that popularity and their dominance, if the Chiefs get 5 Super Bowl rings, they catch up with the 49ers with 5 Super Bowl rings, the Chiefs will be the face of the West. Because of popularity and because how fast they have just... The Chiefs turned into an instant dominant team overnight. It's like as soon as Patrick Mahomes became a starter, it just seemed like it just became great. So when we're talking about doing it for the Bay, every Bay Area team have their own work to do in order to make it back to dominance. Doing it for the Bay means that you are great. Doing it for the Bay means that you are dominating every opponent that you go against. Doing it for the Bay means that you are number one. That's the standard. Doing it for the Bay means that you are number one. You're number one in your division. You're number one in the conference. You are never letting your opponent dominate you. Even the Warriors. The Warriors got their own issue. At one point, they had a great dominant run. Now they're in a situation where, well, they're not like in a situation where the 49ers where there's one team that's in danger of becoming greater than them historically. The Warriors are in a situation where multiple teams or it's possible that multiple teams can become better than them. I mean, you got Minnesota, Dallas, Denver, maybe Sacramento. I'm not really sure how great Sacramento wants to be, but you can't forget about Sacramento. Some people say Memphis, but as of right now, I don't view Memphis as a serious franchise unless that team matures. But we can still say Memphis. The same with New Orleans. Some people say New Orleans has a potential to be great, but when it comes to maturity and hunger and desire, I don't see New Orleans as being that team that can be great because I just don't think that desire is there. But you still can't sleep on them. Clippers, Lakers, the same with them. I don't think when it comes to the Clippers and the Lakers, I don't think maturity is really an issue. I think for them, I just don't think that desire is there as of now. I'm not sure if that desire to be great is there. But at the same time, you still can't overlook them. So for the Warriors, it's multiple teams that's coming after them. And the Warriors are going to have to make some tough decisions this summer. Well, probably not only this summer, probably like next year and the year after that too. Like, yeah, the Warriors are going to have to make some, tough decisions. They may have to, end their relationship with certain guys in order to get back to being great. The Warriors need guys that are focused on championships, being great in basketball, and not focus on pleasing other people. But that's all I have to say about the Warriors. When it comes to doing it for the Bay, you are striving for number one. You're not striving to be number two. You're not striving for a wild card spot. That's not what doing it for the Bay is about. Look at the Oakland Roots. The Oakland Roots are striving to be number one. Entering this weekend, they're only 5 points out of the first seed for the West. And you best believe the Roots are they're going for that number one seed. They're not settling for a wildcard spot. That's not the standard in Oakland. The Oakland Roots said they're going to be the ones that brings playoff soccer back to the Bay this fall. They're not even worried about what's going on with you, San Jose. They have a different vision. They have a different goal. They have a different drive. The Oakland Roots said they are the soccer team for the Bay. And they are determined and focused to bring playoff soccer back to the Bay this fall. And if they continue to do whatever they're doing, that's causing them to be only 5 points away from the number one seed in the West, in the USL this year, because honestly, I haven't been watching them too much. If they just continue to do whatever they're doing, they will get that. Because the Oakland Roots, they understand the standard of doing it for the Bay. They know what the expectation is in the Bay. And that's to be the best. It's to be number one. Because when a sports team in the San Francisco Bay is number one, the whole nation is affected. And I already gave examples. When Steph Curry and the Warriors were dominated, the whole nation was affected. Everybody was chasing after the Warriors. When the 49ers had their Super Bowl runs, everybody was chasing after them. Everybody from the Midwest, the East Coast, the South, everybody was talking about Jerry Rice, T.O. San Francisco Giants, Barry Bonds, home run king. The whole nation was affected. Many people were just finding ways to discredit him and to prevent him from being the home run king. But yet and still, he still became the home run king. When a sports team from the San Francisco Bay is number one, the whole nation is affected. The whole nation bows down. It's like the whole nation gets weak when a sports team from the Bay is number one. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, 49ers would probably have 2 Super Bowl rings this decade. They probably would have had 2 or 3 Super Bowls in this decade already, if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes. In my opinion, he's the only guy that's standing in their way. The good thing for the 49ers is you still have the rest of this decade. You still have 6 more years to get it right. So, San Jose Earthquakes, as you step on this field to go against LA Galaxy, and as you go throughout the rest of your season, and I really don't know how this season is going to end for you, but just keep that in mind. And this is a time where you all have to come together. Nobody's expecting you to be good. Nobody's expecting you to be great. You don't have some random YouTuber who people barely knows giving you words of encouragement. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just doing it. But this is the time where you all got to come together. It's you against the world. Because nobody's expecting you to do anything for the rest of this year. Many people are expecting you to stay at the bottom. But the question is, do you expect yourself to stay at the bottom? Because you see, sounds like it doesn't matter what other people think about you. What matters is what you think about yourself. So if you think you're going to stay at the bottom of the league, then you'll stay at the bottom of the league. If you don't believe that you will stay at the bottom of the league and you believe that you're better than this, then you will rise up. You will rise up. But you are the one that will determine that. So let's step on this field this Saturday and put the nation on notice. Your arch rival, LA Galaxy. A lot of people ignores this Cali Classico rivalry. The rivalry a lot of people pay more attention to is El Tráfico. Deservingly so. Two crosstown rivals. But as I continue to say, El Tráfico is a beauty pageant, a popularity contest, that doesn't mean it's not as fierce. It doesn't mean it's not fierce. It's still fierce. It's still highly competitive. It's still two teams who don't like each other. And, LAFC is trying to take Los Angeles from LA Galaxy. That's the truth. So it is a real battle. It's a real battle. But it's still a popularity contest. Cali Classico, on the other hand, it's a street fight. Figuratively speaking. It's a street fight. There's nothing popular about this rivalry. It's not the rivalry that people will stay up late at night to watch. It's just clean, old-fashioned hate. Figuratively speaking, we don't like you. You don't like us. We want to embarrass you, and we're not going to allow you to embarrass us. LA Galaxy is the team that's going to try to embarrass you like they usually try to do. And you, San Jose, you're going to be the team that stands up for yourself and say, you're not going to embarrass us. Until you catch up with them in stars. That's going to be the narrative. LA Galaxy is going to try to dominate and embarrass their arch rival. And until you catch up with them in stars, that narrative will never change. But let's start the road to changing that narrative this weekend. Now, as for you, LA Galaxy, the message doesn't change. Every city that you step foot on, that you enter in, every airport, every practice field, every hotel, every stadium, every city that you step to, you got to remind the nation who you are. You got to remind us who you are. That's enough motivation. Some people think LAFC is now the face of MLS. A lot of people are saying that Miami is the face of MLS. Some people are saying that Cincinnati is the face of MLS. You got to remind us who the real OGs of MLS are. Who is the most successful club in MLS history? And that's the Galaxy. You got to remind us, every opponent that you face, no mercy. No mercy. That's how you remind us, LA Galaxy. As for you, San Jose, you got to do it for the Bay. And doing it for the Bay, always, and I mean always, means that you're number one in everything that you do.